Always listen to your customers and what advice they give you because you're serving them. It doesn't matter what I want to do, it's just what they are wanting to.
Hey, what is going up, everybody? This is Roy and welcome to episode 11 of Breaking Down a Business. As you all know, in our channel, join me as we interview everyday business owners and hear how they break down their business from success to strategies and tools, all the way down to their struggles and hardships. Stay tuned all the way till the end because we have very amazing insights and really great takeaways that you guys can learn and implement in your business today. So on today's episode, we have Rachel Diaz with Boriken Cakes. Did I say that correct?
Yes, Boriken Cakes.
Yes, I love it. We did it. And it's a Puerto Rican cupcake shop located here in Chicago. And she serves the authentic Puerto Rican cake in many Caribbean flavors. So she started basically in her house, and now she has two different locations in Chicago, one in Logan Square and one in Archer Heights. Rachel, hello, welcome. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so fun.
Amazing. Okay, so can you again just give us an insight, because just a little bit that I know about you is that you started baking at home in 2010, but then the business actually didn't start till 2019. So we had like a 9-year of like learning, growing, like tell me about this adventure.
Well, the story goes like I actually wasn't into baking all my life. I mean, I always loved baking from home and doing these kinds of things, but my career was actually in design. So I was a designer through all those years, and I was baking on the side for families and friends, and they would spread the word about it. I would bring some cakes to work. So that's kind of like what I was doing on those like years.
Yeah.
And then in 2019 is when I got, to get things more seriously because a year ago I lost my job, and then because the company closed down. And I was like, you know what should I do from here? Do I want to keep on doing like design work? I was pregnant with my second child. So I was like, do I want to be back in the office? Because that was like almost 12 hours between commuting and everything out every day. I hardly ever see my kids. And like, well, I'm in a place where I can actually, like, my husband was supporting like the house and everything. So I was in a place that I could take a risk. So I just went at it and decided to build a business and registered it. And that's when we started like kind of like tapping into the waters of the business and how it would feel like.
Yes. Okay. So let's kind of dig a little deeper with like how you started. So again, I know you said like 2010, right? So then again, just you were testing it out. So it sounds like you already went into it was just friends and family. You had an amazing product because again, people are already referring to you, and then you taking that leap, right? So whenever you hear taking that leap, we tend to just say like, oh yeah, it just kind of like happened. But like, I'm trying to figure out like, what did you have a location right away? How did you, were you still baking at home? Little stuff like that to kind of provide a little bit more insight with our users.
So I have a when Maria hit the hurricane hit Puerto Rico, my sister and my mom came, and that's kind of what gave me like the last push to like take the risk and do the business because I was actually gonna have some help from them and with the kids and with the business and everything. So that kind of like helped me like push me more towards that decision.
Yeah.
And I'm more of a risk taker, and my sister is more down to earth and more like analytical. So we made a good team, and I was already going all out like, let's find a place, let's build a bakery, and I found this really good place like in the south side for the bakery. And it was exactly how I dreamed it. Like I even sketched it out. It was like the same. It was already painted in the colors of the brand. I was like, oh my god, this is it. This is it. So I went and signed the papers, crazy me. And then my sister was like, wait, I think we should like start small with something, let's just test it out.
Right.
So we did a few markets and some like pop-ups in different locations throughout Chicago. Like we even went to Aurora to one of the Boriken Fest just to
Perfect.
see what people wanted, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And and then we decided to move forward with the kiosk. So we started with a mall kiosk in
Okay.
Harvey Plaza,
How did
and that's
you so we're over at the Hip, right? We were talking about this. I'm like, man, I grew up going to the Hip, Harlem Irving Plaza for all you guys who don't know, aka the Hip. How did you get inside the kiosk? Was it hard? Was it easy? Was there a lot of paperwork? I'm actually just like
um,
curious.
yeah, it's not as hard as you would think.
Okay,
I did had to like request, but I didn't go in straight in. I did two pop-ups before I started like
got it.
going to do like a full lease because I wanted to try it in the low seasons and in the high seasons and see how the sales would have gone. And since we kind of like build our numbers from there and we kind of saw what people wanted on those pop-ups. The pop-ups were only for a weekend.
Right.
So that was like also a good way to get to know the managers of the mall and get to like get our foot in there a little bit better and show them that we're capable, right?
Mhm.
And then once we tested both times, then we were like, okay, I think we're ready. We know what people want. We changed our product both times to see what they wanted, not like our actual like recipe, but the way that we package it, the way that we presented it. Like on the first time we brought bun cakes and we realized those were not as great as we thought because they're a little bit bigger than what somebody wants to try first. So we went a little bit smaller. And then on the last one, we went really small and we went with cupcakes because people just want to have a little bit of a taste of what it's like. They don't want to invest in something of, $8, $10 if they don't know if they're going to like it, right?
Right.
So we stuck to cupcakes. And so then we started the kiosk back. I like going around because once before we even signed the lease for the mall, we already signed the lease for this place here.
Wait, is that the Archer
The
location?
Archer location. We
Okay.
thought that we were gonna have that real quick. We were gonna be able to bring our equipment and start right away, and I was so wrong.
Oh no.
There was so many things that happened. We couldn't open it until a year later, and
Wait, so did you still have to pay for the lease?
yes. Well, no, they actually hold up our lease until a little bit before we open when they were
Okay.
like, okay, after a year, like we need to start getting some money. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But back then what we were doing is that we were cooking from a shared kitchen, a shared commercial kitchen. That's the only way that we were able to, do things legally, right?
Yes. Well, because I have a few friends who are in the industry of food, so I know like a good starting off is like finding a commercial kitchen. How was it finding a commercial kitchen? Was it easy? Was it hard? Did you ask them all the questions? What was that like?
um, at the beginning, I was hard because I didn't even know where to look. And when I was asking the city for opinions and stuff, they were like, "Oh, we can't really give you any advice on there because it's I don't know, they just can't." So I had to do like the research on my own and just Google it basically and
Right.
just find different places around the area, give them calls, find out about rates and restrictions and requirements and all that stuff. And once we found one that was that fit our budget and that we could like actually work out of because it was close to home, that's when we sat down with them. And
Perfect.
it was tough.
Yeah.
Cooking from a kitchen is not easy.
I'm actually so I know a lot of questions that we also do get just in general too, because again, like what we're hearing this your story. You started out in 2010 and then you said it didn't officially start till 2019. You know, which one always comes first, chicken or the egg type thing. So it's like, do you do your business name first? Do you get your website? Do you get an LLC S corp right away? Like, what did you learn? And then what would you have done differently with like the back end business admin stuff that people really don't talk about?
So as a designer, I of course started with the branding because I know how important it is and I know how we connect through colors and experience and stuff like that. So I started doing my own branding. So back when I was baking and bringing stuff to work, I started making my little business cards. You know how like
Yeah.
everybody starts very excited with that, and just giving business cards around. But
Did
I
you
never
already have the
did it.
name? Did you have the name already?
Yes. So I wanted a name that will represent Puerto Rico, but it will still, for Puerto Ricans, they will know right away it's Puerto Rican, but for somebody else, they may want to find it curious.
Yeah.
Because Boriken, for the people who doesn't know, is like the name of Puerto Rico before it was named Puerto Rico. That's why we call ourselves Boricuas. It's a little bit of a spin on the name, but
Yeah.
that's how I came up with that back then. I think I would have picked a different name, a little bit easier to pronounce now that I'm more in the run, because people get, if they go to Google it will be hard to find it if they don't type it correctly. But something I did that helped me a lot till today is that when I started, I right away, again, I set up my website, I get my domain, I get my social media. Back then it was just Instagram, Facebook. And um and I after I was doing when I was registered in 2019,
Mhm.
that's where I like go ahead and did like all the paperwork, registered the business, and I started putting it in Google. And I think that helped me a lot for the rankings, because now people can find me a lot easier. Because
Perfect.
if you start those things early, it's gonna be better in the long run to like build from that.
Right. No, that's absolutely amazing. Thank you for sharing again. That's a lot of the questions that I see startup business, right? They get super excited. Sometimes they don't even like go through, like, I call it the testing phase. Like, you gotta know if you have a product or not. So that's why, like, I always test my theory first before I even try to jump into, like, oh, I got to get this LLC. I got to pay, Uncle Sam, and I got to get all this stuff registered. It's like, well, do you even have a business yet? Are you making any sales? You know? So no, thank you definitely for sharing that. So let's go into, like, what are other things you wish you knew before starting the business? Any tips before, like, opening?
Um, there's so many things. One thing I did was I took a course with Janelle Copeland. She's the one who won Cupcake Wars, and I was one of the best things I did because it
Oh, nice.
helped understand like the business side of things.
Okay.
Before I mean, I was already into like the doing pop-ups and stuff, but I wasn't full on like an upstand location that was permanent. And that really helped a lot to shift my focus and how to like work things around. But if there's something I wish I would have known sooner, is that me being a designer, I thought I had everything figured out. I thought that, oh
Yeah.
yeah, I can handle my marketing all by myself. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But it's way more than that. Like, people have to see you at least 7 times before they trust you. So it's more that, yes, you can grow it through organically, social media and stuff, but it takes so long. And if you have like a bigger database of clients before you even open, then that's going to give you a huge head start, because you're going to have some customers coming back to your business.
And is that what you did?
So no, so I did started with social media and stuff, but now I'm like, okay, now I need more. Like, I need to get like, now I'm not just operating from a kiosk. Now I have 2 locations. I need double the customers. So now I'm, trying to reach out to other designers and other marketing specialists to do like ads for like Facebook or Instagram, or do like paid advertising, because it's a lot of customers that are now I have to bring in right away.
Right. What else would you say that you wished you learned, before starting?
um, what else? So many things. Definitely the marketing part, like try to like collect emails as early as possible, because that's
Emails is
something that it's the only thing that you own. Like, if you can have 1 million followers on social media, and if they decide to close you down or like close the account for XY reason, then you lost communication with these people. So the only way that you like something that you actually own is to get their email, so that you can talk to them when you have a new thing coming out, a new flavor.
yeah.
So That's something that I wish I would have done from day one because it would have helped a lot.
Yeah. How do you guys currently, I guess, collect emails? Do you guys use like Stripe? Do you guys use is it through your kiosk or not kiosk, but like
We
when you're like your payment whenever?
Yes. So we use Square, and they have their own marketing thing. So we try to like encourage people to give us their email for the receipt by offering them a free cupcake on their birthday, and that's usually something that people go for, and they just give us their email.
Nice. No, that's actually that's amazing. Like definitely we're all for that. No, thank you for sharing that as well. I'm trying to think what else you might have mentioned. I know you did the percentages, which is good. Listen, oh, what about your customers? Like, because I remember you were talking about when you guys first did your pop-up customers, and then they kind of help you steer towards flavor and like the size and everything else like that.
I always listen to your customers and what advice they give you because you're serving them. I even if I wanted to do like big cakes or I wanted to do, it doesn't matter what I want to do. It just matters what they are wanting to have, right? In the beginning, I was doing like basic flavors that we had in Puerto Rico, the original flavor, which is soap cake with brandy and an almond icing. That's what we normally have there for birthday parties. I was doing the what we usually have for weddings, which is the almond amaretto.
Mhm.
And so those two are like the staple cakes over there.
Yeah.
But people wanted tropical fruits. They wanted piña colada. I'm like, how come you don't have a coconut cake? How come you don't have a guava cake? I'm like, well, that's not really 100%, traditional over there. This is what you get there, but it doesn't matter what I want. It matters, what the customers are looking for.
Right.
So I started doing a flavor of the month and listening to the feedback and see, okay, do you like this one? How about this one? If they wanted to keep it on the menu, we keep it on the menu. And, we're just trying to like work with the community and bring them what they want.
Awesome. How many flavors do you have now?
Currently we have 10 flavors, including the flavor of the month.
Okay. Awesome. If you guys haven't had it, I mean, I went this past weekend and got and tried my first Boriken cake. That thing is amazing. Oh my God. The frosting, I don't even know how to describe it because like the frosting it's like, I don't want to say it's frozen, right?
It's like crunchy.
But
It's
it's
like
crunchy. That's
crunchy
what I
on the
like.
top. Uh-huh. And
Yeah, and
then
then
like
and then you get in, and then like the cupcake is soft, but then on the bottom it's like even more moist. So
yeah.
like I don't even know how.
It's a
It is
whole different experience.
it is definitely a whole different experience. If you guys haven't had it, definitely check it out. It is worthwhile going. So which is obviously amazing. But okay, so going back to what was your first few years as a business owner? I mean, I could attest to it. We could all attest to it. Like mistakes. Let's kind of like talk mistakes and what can we learn from your mistakes?
Oh my god, so many. I don't even know where to start, to be honest.
What
uh,
was the
wow.
first thing that like popped in your head that you're like, this would be a good lesson for everyone to learn from me?
Pricing. Pricing my products, I was doing it all wrong. Like I thought that pricing products was just add up all the ingredients that it takes to do the packaging, this and that, and multiply it by two, and voila. Or like look into other like bakeries and see, oh, how much are they charging for this? That means that I can charge this amount. Like that mindset is just I had no clue about how to like cost anything.
Yeah.
And that's why on the beginning when I was doing it, so funny because every time I had a pop-up market or anything with my mom and my sister, when we were done, because we were usually done like by 2 a.m. baking, I was super exhausted. I'm like, remind me not to do this ever again. Because then I see like the sales. So we're like everything went into like the stuff that we bought. We didn't make a penny. Like and all this work for like nothing. It was
Right.
like so hard. And yeah, that's one of the like things, one of the biggest mistakes I did in the beginning. And I did it over and over. Like I was selling custom made, handmade cakes, like 2-tier cakes
Why?
for like, oh yeah, I think it could be like $80, something that took me 2 days to build, and like all these ingredients. And yeah, it was a really, really big mistake. I lost so much money there.
It wa we'll call those, learning experiences.
Totally.
But now after kind of going through that, how did you learn how to, I guess, properly price now so that like, again, we're all in it to, it's passion that we love doing, one, but obviously we still have like to put food on the table, roof over our heads.
Yes, so I actually learned at this course, Passion to Profit, the one that I took with Janelle Copeland.
Mhm.
And she's the one who guided me through everything. And she was like, okay, so you have to like have all your ingredients, blah, blah. I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, I already know. Like this is already my ingredients. And then you have to add labor to it. I'm like, labor what?
That labor. There's your
I'm
secret right
like,
there, guys. Did you so it's
I'm like,
not only
what?
the it's not only the cost of the product, right? But
Yeah.
obviously the labor and the time is part of the cost because you got to put it all together.
Mm-hmm.
Made with
Yeah.
love.
So I actually come from like when I was a designer, I was actually a toy and craft designer.
Mhm.
So I worked a lot with pricing. So you would think that I had to figure it out, right? But no, because over there, all we focused on was the pricing of the materials. But I didn't see like the back end. They will like do like this magic number for like overhead, and that was the labor included in there. So
Yeah.
I never saw that part of it. I was like, oh yeah, like I know what I have to do, but no. So once I started like adding up my labor, I was like, oh my God, like nobody's gonna buy this cake for this much. Like this is impossible. I don't have a business. And on top of that, you need to add the profit because once you start paying somebody else for it, then you're not gonna make any money if you don't add profit to that. And overhead, which is another story.
Which we're
So
totally no, which let's dive into that because that all entails right into running a business, right? So it's not only just the product, but if you have a location
mhm.
at the overhead, right?
Even
So
if you're baking from home starting, you need to add overhead because you're paying for bills for the gas bill is going up if you're using your ovens or if it's electrical. You're like, there's so many things that you don't take into consideration, the pans that you're using and all this other stuff. So even from day one, if you're starting this business from home, you gotta add that into the formula because otherwise you're gonna fall short you're gonna be working for nothing.
yeah, no, thank you for sharing that tip. What about because you do have a brick and mortar spot, how can you teach us anything there?
About like calculating the overhead there.
No, not necessarily, but just like in general, like did you get a loan? How did you,
Um,
like little stuff like that that we're all, kind of curious because, starting going from a home, right? And you're like, all right, well, we are kind of, we're either paying rent or electric, but that's like kind of like household stuff. But now you're
mhm,
like, you're completely detaching yourself and you're like, well, I have a new home that I have to
mhm.
account for.
Yeah, working for that share kitchen helped kind of to get like my head around it because over there, like we're paying like about $20 an hour, and so then that kind of like already like set me okay, this is how much I needed, but when I was opened the bakery, I was like, okay, how much I'm gonna be paying actually in bills, how much I'm gonna be paying out, approximately like in rent, employees, and all that. And then it came down to almost the same per hour as I was going in the kitchen. So I'm like, okay, so maybe we can do it, maybe we can afford it. But we definitely started from zero. I had no savings. And this is something I don't recommend anybody doing because it's so risky. It's so risky because there's gonna be months where you're not gonna have enough to pay for stuff, and then what do? You take another loan. I'm like, so yes, I started with a loan. I went to get these courses in Chicago
Okay.
about business and stuff in downtown, and when you finish that, they give you like certificate that you could take to a bank and they will like be able to lend you some money. But what I needed to open the bakery was like $30,000,
Mm.
and every bank that I went to, they will never give you that amount of money for a startup. Like with no experience, they were not gonna risk that money on you.
Yeah.
So
How
the
did you
most I could
I
get
was gonna
was
say, how did you
2,000.
overcome that? And
Yeah, so I was still doing the kiosk. So the kiosk was producing a little bit of money there.
mhm,
Um, so I was trying to like pay for stuff for the build out with that. And the 10,000 loan basically went into architects and to like all these certified people to do the electrical and all the other stuff.
for the build out.
And trust me, the build-up was almost done. I just needed to do a couple things, but even then, even
Right.
to move an outlet, you need a certified electrician. So there's so many things so many road bumps in the road that you have to overcome, and finding that people had to be like asking around, and I had to like ask other business owners that I knew in the area, or post something on Facebook groups and try to find people there.
Right.
It was tough. Like finding like the resources and the people who work to work for you, it was something that really set us back a long time.
Yeah. No, again, thank you for sharing all the little things that does like have to like go into it. I'm thinking, did you go like Excel sheet, just to kind of write down every like little detail? I mean that because like that's what I did. I'm like, I'm very old school. I'm like, all right, what is everything gonna cost just so you could see that actual true number and not guess
Hmm.
what
Yeah,
number
that's
is
what
gonna
I
be.
did. I'm old school too, so I did wrote like I mean, some things were things that I thought it would be because I didn't know exactly how much it would be. I had an idea how much it would be for the equipment. I had an idea how much it could be for like the bills because I have a friend that owns a restaurant, and I will ask her like, "Hey, how much are you paying for like
Right.
bills?" And we'll like kind of like put it down with a little bit extra just in case.
Yes.
But there were a lot of things that were not on that sheet that I had no clue, like the certified electrician, the architect. I didn't know I needed an architect to like do what is we didn't even do almost anything. We just added some outlets and we just yeah, but we needed that person. That's what the city said. So
Yeah.
that was alone was like $3,000, and I was not in my budget at all. So there were so many things that came out later, but I did try my best to put like
For sure.
something together in the beginning.
No, and so that's probably like a great tip that everyone should just write down, or even again consider as you're opening up. Try to write down and list everything out, and then again, just maybe add on the bottom like extras, and then throw like 10K, like just
Uh-huh. Yeah, just
like just
exactly
is
10K and
that
extra to the beginning.
emergency, like I don't know what I'm missing line on Excel.
Another thing that would be good to add in there that I did not add it. Well, I did add it, but I couldn't afford it. Was to have like an extra month of like just to cover yourself, just in case
Oh,
a
yes.
month goes, by and you don't have enough rent or something. So,
The rainy day fund, right?
yeah,
Did you have you read the book Profit First?
yes.
Okay, because I've heard you mentioned a couple of things, and you're like, "Oh, yeah, I'm putting a certain percentage, and I'm putting that aside," and I'm just like, "That's that Mr. Mike guy. He's setting up, certain things." If you guys haven't, please do read The Profit First. It's actually a really amazing business book to help you with some of the accounting stuff, just in general of like how to save and where to put certain funds to at the same
And if
time.
you don't own a business, it's a good book to help you
It's just
manage your everyday life.
that is very true as well. Knowing where your money goes. We should do a
Mhm.
segment on that. I actually do end all of our conversations with a rapid fire fun question. So you haven't seen any of this. So she's like, great, what am I in for?
Uh-oh.
But yeah, just rapid fire. It's either like a one word or like a sentence, right? But the first thing that like comes to mind. Super easy.
Okay.
All right. So one thing you can never live without, and it can't be coffee.
My Scorpio system.
Wait, what was that again?
My POS system.
Yeah, okay.
It does everything. I have my website there, scheduling, like everything.
Yeah. Okay. She went right in it. No, I love it. Perfect. And again, it doesn't have to be business related. So Yeah, but
I'm always thinking business, so that's gonna be hard.
yeah, no, you're good. What do you do to manage your mental health?
Ooh, um, I try to do things that make me happy. Like try to figure out what are the things that make me happy and just do that. Like if I go on vacation and I'm drinking tea on outside in the sun and I figure out, oh, then drinking tea outside in the sun makes me happy. It doesn't have to be in the other side of the world. I could do this at home.
Right.
So try to find out what are those little things that make me happy and try to incorporate that into my day.
I love that. What is your current obsession?
Ay, the business.
A true entrepreneur spoken. Always learning. Actually, now I gotta add outside of business. What's your current obsession other than business?
Oh my God. You know what? Like my mind is so wrapped around the business. I need to get out of it and start like doing stuff for myself.
Well, maybe
um,
that's it. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's
yeah, I need to start like I'm like obsessed with traveling and eating. I just love eating, even if it's not like Chicago has so many amazing food in different like countries and everything that I
yeah.
feel like I could go out and try something from Greece and try something from Italy and it's very authentic. So I just love eating different foods.
And there it is, trying out new foods in Chicago. What is a morning routine you have to do?
I'm a mom, so my morning routines are, hectic. I just, get up, get the kids ready for school, try to sneak in some breakfast there,
Uh,
and get to work. Yeah.
and then what last question to close things out. What is a good rule you've learned from someone?
Good rule. I just learned recently how to communicate better and like how if you're gonna say something or not complain, but say something that's that's bothering you. Always talk about your feelings first, and that's something that I have a really tough time doing, talking about my feelings, and I feel like that's helped me a lot too, and try to like communicate a lot better with my family and everybody.
No, that thank you for sharing that last tidbit as well. So, Rachel, thank you so much for sharing your journey with us.
Thank you for having me. It was
Yeah,
great.
absolutely. So, guys, show some love, please, for Rachel with Boriken Cakes. Give us a like, subscribe. We're gonna have all of her social media in our description below. So, if you've been listening or watching wherever you are, please make sure to share your biggest insights. Let us know your key takeaways. What else you'd like to learn on this channel as well. We are here to help you and guide you through your entrepreneurial journey. Rachel, I hope this brings you some value, and I hope other people are going to actually try too, because I mean I was a first timer and I am now in love with the Boriken cakes. So
Thank you.
awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you again for watching. If you want any more videos just like this one, don't forget to go ahead and subscribe and check out these other videos right over here. We post a new video every Wednesday. Thanks again for checking us out.